Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 57, Storage Ring. You won't get away that easily. This fellow had Zhang Xuan surrounded, and demanded him to kneel down and compensate him. Naturally, Zhang Xuan couldn't possibly let him off the hook so easily. Zhang Xuan did a quick job out of the several Fighter 5 Dan Dingley realm pinnacle supports, and after turning his body around, he headed straight for the Master Mo Yang ahead of him. With the significant breakthrough in the strength of his physical body, Zhang Xuan's body movement was reminiscent of a frog. Every single time the base of his foot came into contact with the ground, he would fly 10 meters forward. Despite not possessing any footwork techniques, his speed was already swift like a rock. The heck? The frantically escaping Master Mo Yang turned his head, just to see the other party flitting towards him with large strides, his movements similar to that of the immortals. The overwhelming shock caused him to forget to breathe for a split moment, almost making himself tumble over. He thought that Zhang Xuan was a lamb that he could easily squeeze to death, so he fervently hunted him down to wash away the shame from the incident earlier this day. Yet, never did he expect that he would run into a lion's den. If only he knew that Zhang Xuan was that formidable, he would have never come looking for him. Judging from how young that fellow was, even if he started training inside his mother's womb, it was still illogical for his strength to rise that quickly. Master Mo Yang felt endless regret, to the point that even the thought of suicide popped up in his head. If only his mouth wasn't that inauspicious for him to pick out that fellow out of the entire crowd when he was scamming others in the treasure speculation hall. The other party would not have exposed his deeds, and he could have walked out of the hall pompously under the gazes of respect from the crowd, despite scamming their money. Even after his ploy was exposed, he could have just escaped the capital, and nothing would have happened. Yet, he just had to decide on exacting vengeance. Now, not only did he fail to exact vengeance, on the contrary, he became the one who was being chased like a weakling. What the heck is this? Truly, if one doesn't dedicate one's soul to committing suicide, one wouldn't die. Ah, my heart. Despite being just 19, Zhang Xuan had cultivated the Heaven's Path divine art and Heaven's Path golden body. His body had been nourished by Genkai and cleared of all impurities, his bones tempered and forged anew, causing him to look younger than his real age. At one look, he looked barely 17 or 18. At such an age, an average person would only be at Fighter 1 Dan or 2 Dan. Yet, the moment they all made a move, it was clear to see that not even with all of them combined could they match up with Zhang Xuan. Thus, it would actually be more bizarre if he didn't choose to escape. Stop. While complaining in his mind, he felt a stifling sensation in his chest. Following which, a flat voice sounded from his back. Peng. Before he could turn around to counterattack, he felt a sharp pain at the center of his spinal cord. He stumbled forward, and with his face in contact with the ground, he flew forward, creating a deep gorge on the ground in his track. My face, Master Mo Yang was on the verge of tears. Without taking a look, it was clear that his face was already ruined. Kaka. As though not sparing the moment for him to wallow in self-pity, a foot stepped on his head. You should have thought of the possibility of such an outcome when you came for my life. Zhang Xuan stepped on the head of the other party with an impassive expression. He had only been an ordinary librarian in his previous life. However, ever since becoming a part of this world, he had comprehended the logic of might reigning supreme here. If his strength turned out to be inadequate today, he might have possibly died already. Don't kill me. Lord, as long as you do not kill me, I am willing to hand over my years of savings to you. Clearly feeling the other party's ability to crush his head by exerting force through the foot that's on his head, Master Mo Yang trembled uncontrollably. Comparing money with life, it was clear that the latter was much more valuable. Oh. Show it to me then. I'll see if it is sufficient to buy your life. Zhang Xuan replied blandly. Yes, yes. Hearing the other party's words, Master Mo Yang hurriedly took off his ring with trembling fingers and presented it to Zhang Xuan. Everything is inside. I beseech Lord, to take a look. Inside. Zhang Xuan frowned. What could be fitted into a ring? However, as an expert, he couldn't be posing such an inquiry to the other party. His mind jolted and a book appeared. Low-tier storage ring. Possesses 3 meters square of space within. Flaws, inferior method of creation. The book described the details of the ring thoroughly. Storage ring? To think that a giant fraudster like him would possess such a good item. Looks like I've made a huge earning this time. When browsing through the books in the Academy's Compendium Pavilion, he became aware of the existence of the mountain in a seed mystical treasure. Initially, he thought that it was a treasure that was far from his reach, to think that this fellow possessed it. Even though it was a low-tier storage ring, it should be worth at least 500,000 gold coins. Even the elders of the Academy might not be able to afford such a luxury. He couldn't help but feel surprised by a fraudster possessing such an item. However, after giving this matter some thoughts, he came to a realization. Without this item, how could he bring away the money he earned? If he were to carry the stack of money around, it would just be a matter of time before he got discovered, caught, and executed. Looks like this fellow had spent much of his fortune just to buy this. As Zhang Xuan expected, a face of heartache appeared on the face of the other party as he passed the object over. Recalling the details of storage rings in the book he had read regarding it previously, he dripped a drop of fresh blood on it. When, with a jolt of his mind, a 3-meter square space appeared in his vision. It was filled with gold coins, numbering up to 100,000. His character might be subpar, but he did have quite a bit of saving. Lord, since you have accepted the item, I beg you to spare my life. Seeing the young man, Master Mo Yang hurriedly said. Spare your life? It is not impossible for me to do that. If you hand over the banknotes that you have secretly hidden on your body, sparing you is just a small matter. Zhang Xuan looked at him with a bright smile. You. With narrowed eyes, Master Mo Yang looked as though he had met a ghost as disbelief shrouded his features. A cunning rabbit had 3 burrows. As an experienced scammer, he had already prepared a course of action in case he got captured. Thus, when he was running away, he secretly moved to his body the banknotes he had accumulated throughout the years. This was also the reason why he generously offered his storage ring over. The goal of it was to numb the other party so that he wouldn't conduct a body search on him. As long as he was able to get away safely, even if he lost the storage ring and the wealth stored within it, with such banknotes in his possession, he would be able to live without worries as a wealthy man and start anew. He thought that his actions were extremely covered. He couldn't have imagined that this young-looking man had seen through his actions from the start. How did he know? Even if he was powerful, it was impossible for him to see through his clothes and notice the banknotes hidden within. Voila! Couldn't be bothered to argue with the other party. With a claw, Zhang Xuan ripped apart his clothes, and in accordance with his expectations, 10 banknotes exposed themselves between the tattered clothes. Each of them was worth 100,000, and they added up to a massive sum of 1 million. Looks like I have made a huge profit this time. Delighted to see the enormous amount of money, Zhang Xuan's eyes radiated light. I have given you all my money, so you can let me go now. Seeing how the other party was aware even of his hidden stash, Master Mo Yang became disconsolate, his previous haughty aura gone without a trace as cries threatened to escape from his throat. Yang Mo, an apprentice appraiser. A scammer in Liuzhou Kingdom who made his name as an appraiser, notorious for his frauds to earn wealth and the favor of women. Skilled in voice of allurement, which beguiles the mind of others through words, making it easier to convince them. Zhang Xuan's foot remained firmly on his head as he revealed the information compiled on this master from the library with a smiling face. You. How did you know? Who the hell are you? Master Mo Yang's eyes narrowed as his whole body trembled intensely, fear reflected on his face.